So basically the counter pick, which is drafting for R5 because the enemy team will always choose blue side.
Indeed.
So you either get R1 or you get R5. Oh my God, we solved it. That's how we do RFS. It's like, did you get R1 or did you get R5? Boom. Beautiful. That's it. It's solved. Okay. So they went for R5.
Well, it does mean that DRX now have blue side and first pick, which I'm sure they're probably pretty happy with. Malphite and Jace are going to swap sides of the ban list, but Vi is a new one. So we are going to see something released within the Ambessa, Nico, Rumble, or Bard. We'll see who it's going to be. The Ambessa is going to remain banned. And I imagine Nico is still probably pretty high priority, as well as the Rumble. So I think maybe a Bard is open. Never mind. Cassante going to be banned away as DRX. They want to pick Rumble. Guys, that's what they want to do.
Want to pick it really badly.
They would really like a Rumble.
They would really prefer that.
If you don't want them to have a good time, I'd ban Rumble. That's what
Closer is like, I have an inkling they may really want to play Rumble here.
But maybe they don't, is now what they're thinking. And the time's ticking down. They'll ban it. Okay, there we go.
This was the correct choice. So now we're going to find out what they would like to play instead.
Is it a Nico first pick? Pantheon first pick.
Pantheon
I like that
makes
one
a lot of sense. I think Nico has just become a little bit more situational in this meta. And pretty standard, easy point-and-click engage, like Rich Flash W on somebody, or Pantheon just flash point click stun after ulting from a million miles away. Just seems pretty good. Seems pretty consistent.
I would say so.
Varus will be the option. So the desk was talking about the second pick selection, so the R5 selection, and what it means about Peter having to prove himself. I was kind of feeling the opposite about how this draft is going to go. They were going to pick their 2v2 early, and then Dudu would be proving himself, or Closer would be proving himself in the final pick for counter pick. Still could be a bottom lane counter pick, but it's looking less and less likely with this Rise to come through.
Yep. So it will be the classic Rise Talia trade, but I'm a little bit worried about this. We saw it in our previous series. Obviously, Nongshim didn't win, but I think that their composition was still very, very strong. And so Pantheon and Talia likely to be the pairing, and then possibly just one of Rich's picks to come in after that, if they would like to.
Oh, that would be pretty bizarre. Okay, it is going to come out. It's going to go straight into Nar Talia.
Well, I mean, the Pantheon Talia was obvious, but the Nar blind pick is kind of crazy.
Yeah, because now the Supers can protect their bottom duo, and they get counter pick for the top lane.
But they are sort of priced in to picking a bottom duo. And so then you could see some bans to come in to try and protect this Nar, perhaps. And so the Kenny is going to be the pickup. So a bit of a Yordle battle in the top lane.
Okay. A lot of engage here for DNS between the Pop Blossom and the Slicing Maelstrom. But they do not really yet have the global power to match double globals here for DRX. And I think without Cryo in the bottom lane, it won't necessarily work out as well as they'd like to. Atelia won't be able to go topside necessarily. Or sorry, the Rise won't be able to go topside necessarily if they don't have bottom side one. And this is obviously the same true in the bottom lane. Bard's taken away. I want to take away range support so that the Nico can win the lane. Jarvan has been removed, so it might be Sivir as the angle here for Geo, what they're looking for.
Yeah, it could be something like that. Nautilus going to be a ban away here, so going to be looking at Docdom to see whether it is going to be Aphelios, right? And it's Docdom. He is pretty good at the multi-gun guy, as Wukong going to be taken away as well. So Pyosik going to have to dig a little bit deeper here to find a champion that he wants to play. See what it is going to be as Lee Sin. Okay, this is a Pyosik classic. Some of his best games have been on this champion in the past, but it is a little bit of a gauntlet thrown because you don't necessarily have all that much value outside of those sick big plays. And so we'll see whether he can do it. Obviously, Pyosik has done it in the past.
I mean, Varus is still up, so going for Varus just gives you a really nice ability to outrange the Nico and poke through the lane. But this could indicate something very different. Could just be the Ezreal. Still looking for the Sivir.
Okay.
That we discussed earlier. We saw the Jarvan ban. And what's it going to be here? This draft for DNS kind of lost me a little bit along the way. See if there's a strong, powerful lane champ here for Docdom
Oh, it's got to be.
We just go Aphelios Nico. And this is not a safe Aphelios setup by any means. There is no front line except engage. So sure, when you think about Aphelios, think, okay, got a Thresh to keep him safe, or a Lulu to keep him safe, shields, speed up, wild growth. In this case, you have a Slicing Maelstrom and a Pop Blossom to try to keep the enemy at bay. Well, there's a Pantheon that's just going to fly past that perhaps half of the time. There's a Weaver's Wall set up to where you can get into the backline relatively easily. There's Leona. There's a Sivir, the wave clear.
Yeah, everyone's running way faster.
I think this draft is frankly a lot of strong individual parts in terms of, okay, you got a good matchup for the Kennen. Pioshik's on a comfort pick. Ryze does decent into the Talia. Duckdom's Aphelios, and Nico's one of the strongest champions on the patch. But I look at the composition, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if this works into what DRX have. I think DRX have a more robust comp that has strong win conditions and is very good at killing the Aphelios.
Yeah, I would say so too. Unless they get extraordinarily far ahead, right? Then, you have Severum and you can just heal through the damage and stuff like that, and it should be okay. I think Duckdom is going to have to take 3 cleanses, like every cleanse possible, just to make sure that he is going to be able to survive in the fray.
You mean Mikhail's Nico over there?
Yep, I think you're going to need one of those. Dash Cannon Mikhail's, that's what we're going to see. We'll see whether he can actually get there, as of course, it's a little bit difficult to get to 2 items, but easier now that we have moved to the 2026 season. I think that what DRX have put together is looking pretty strong, but the DN Supers, like you say, right? It's a lot of comfort and it's a lot of stuff that we've seen these guys do incredibly well on, and we'll see whether that is going to be enough to get us to the 6 games on the day. All right, I thought we just weren't going to have a DN Supers fan chant there for a second, and I was going to be very sad. Thankfully, we were patient, and it did come on through.
It did.
And also, we got into this draft incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
We've been having a little bit more ramp up so far this series, so we are just not messing around.
I don't like scaling into the draft.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I like winning the draft weight at level 1.
I also feel like we get a little bit silly during the initial pause, and then that takes a while to wear off. So a lot of seriousness now as Jiu going to go for that tempo barrier, but already down relatively low. Andil doing the same thing as Jiu just trying to damage this minion wave.
The good thing about the Aphelios Nico, even though it's not a strong pairing necessarily in terms of team fight peel for the Aphelios or, protection, it's really good when you could just sit back and chunk people with Calibrum, and the Nico is Nico. And so the Leona is kind of trying to play the game. And so you see tempo barrier as a result here from Gio, which will keep the lane competitive.
Yep. As far as the lane matchups are concerned, you already mentioned it, but it is looking pretty good for the DN Supers, and there is an Ignite on this cannon as well to make sure that Dudu can just win as much as possible. Does have that Electrocute put together as well. So
it's so valuable, though, the shield you get for Kennen when you teleport in later on.
That's a good point.
Really going to need to put some real pressure on in this lane to make the Ignite feel worth it.
But I mean, that's what they're going for, right? You already illustrated that's what this composition does. It wins lanes. So I think going all in on that strategy when otherwise your composition feels wonky, then that kind of works out. I'm into it.
Yeah. It's almost like a solo queue draft where everyone's playing their favorite, one of their favorite champions because they feel like they're good. It's a good matchup for them. I like this one. Yeah, I can actually play Kennen to the Snar. Yeah, I'm a Aphelios one trick. I'm going for this. I've got the Nico. Should be fine in lane. I'm gonna scale.
It's a little bit of a realize your composition in the loading screen type scenario.
Yeah, you're like, okay, so how do we play this now?
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to find out, as the DN Supers may be able to show us, as there are going to be some tempo recalls coming on through here. 1 CS between our bottom laners. They are just going to be going back. Cull is purchased here for Jiu. And same mirrored start here as we have refillables and our Culls all done. We've seen already that the Sivir can do a whole lot of work, though. Smash earlier on today, really making it look good. As Pioshik going to get flashed on here by Andil, going for that early roam once again. Has done this already. Shield of Daybreak does come in. Flash going to be used there from Pioshik to get out of the way of the big old spear As Closer rotating up as well. Now it's a possible re-engage angle as there's a Zenith Blade. UCal will be able to throw this Rise back, and Closer just a little bit in no man's land and will be taken down. First blood goes over to Andal, so not exactly optimal here for DRX, but they'll take it. 500 gold, now the lead.
A little bit puzzling, the situation here, as Rich also gets a cheeky back with the teleport advantage he has and picks up a no magic mantle. So I have a little bit of a better time in this early levels with some additional magic resistance here. Huh. So,
oh, Coach Voice. That's what led to it.
So,
yeah.
Basically, overall, what this comms is from Joker is saying, like, let's use Leona to cover a potential topside play. So, sends him up to the top lane. And then this flash call from Andal seemed really silly at first because that's Lee Sin and he gets the safeguard. But he gets the additional stun here. And then Pyosik, for some reason, flashes the spear. Gets a little bit nervous about that. And just a little bit happy on the trigger finger. And the rest of the team is trying to collapse in and maybe set up a play, but Closer is just by his lonesome.
And they also use Closer in order to get out of dodge.
Yeah.
As you can see, yeah, Joker obviously very, very happy about how this one goes. But it felt like there was a pincer maneuver set up by the DN SOOPers. But Willa then gets to jump onto the Rise, gets out of the way of any danger from Peter and from Dudu. And Zenith Blade then just gets Andal out to safety as well. So it's just kind of a disaster all round here for DNS.
I don't think DNS really needed to... Well, first of all, Pyosik didn't necessarily need to flash where he did, but that's a panic move as Dudu.
Yeah, that's a big old nah. Flash has to be used to get out of the way of the boulder, as Rich is just throwing around Big Ben and having a really good time now that he's hit that Mega.
Yeah, now that Dudu doesn't have level 6, I mean, he's going to hit it in just a second here, but he lost all of his health, so he can't really utilize it for anything, so... That was a really nice timing for Rich to utilize that advantage. But I just think DNS could have just been like, oh, okay, we get out here, Pyosik flashes, but, you know, let's just go get out of the situation and not commit further, and they just kind of walk straight into first blood on the follow-up there. And like you said, help escape did Closer the rest of the team from the collapse idea. Just a bit disjointed. The call has been bought for Jiwoo. He is looking to just say, all right, well, push through this laning phase. I'm going to be a big late game threat. Just want to get as much money as possible, as safely as possible. And his wave clear is going to be really powerful in the mid game to help set up for objectives. That's the other thing Sivir does besides extreme boom boom damage with crit damage buffed on this patch.
Well, gonna need to pull out some sort of Hex Flash play here as Andal finds himself in a very uncomfortable position. Realm Warp, though, to try and get in here and punish him, and that's going to be Closer able to lock him down. That's Closer getting the kill as well, but there's a flick back onto Pyosik. He's in a bit of trouble as Willa looking for another round of skills, and there it is, the spear to finish him off. Gio now turns up. Red White Gun set up here for Dr. though. He's so scary, and down goes the Pantheon. Gio has to flash. And Dr. already demonstrating the power of this pick. UCal just not with enough damage at this stage of the game.
Pyosik denied here, so the Dragon is not going to be taken. Dragon very angrily telling Dr. he is not going to be backing right there either. That was a very crazy set of plays on both sides that looked a little bit silly in the end, but it all starts off with a catch on Andal in the pit, right? And Pyosik's here wants to start the Dragon, but this buys a lot of time. The Realm Warp comes over here initially, and you can see UCal is like, all right, set up here, trying to get Andal out. The rocks would actually catch Pyosik here on the follow. Then he gets hit by a shove that's really well placed, and then doesn't have flash to get the spear he needs to flash this time. Does end up dying after using the flash previously. And Gio goes super deep, trying to actually get backline access into these red-white guns, and then has to flash himself. Because the health bars are so low and another flick comes through from UCal, they cannot actually continue to play, but a very weird situation where Pyosik is essentially putting himself out of the fight right away by going straight to those rocks.
I mean, he did interrupt Hex Flash with a Dragon. I think that's kind of cool, you know?
True!
There's something to be said for that. Outside of it, though, just demonstrating that Talia is kind of the bane of Lee Sin's existence. He kind of dashes to do everything that he wants to do. And we'll see how he's going to be able to navigate that as this game goes on. We've seen plenty of players just decide that they want to hoover up the rocks. You know, like that's how you deal with it. Plenty of Akali players really like just traveling through all of them if they can. But Peter, I think, Pyosik, I think, is going to be wanting to do something different, as we're not going to see a seismic shot, we're just going to see a ghost here from Closer to avoid any of that danger as Willa
UCal's
already
like,
on these grubs.
Is Ghost a dash?
can I put down the rocks to stop him from maybe he trips over?
Must be pretty awkward to like run very quickly through those rocks, but I guess if you're, you know, if you can't...
Like stepping stones, you know, like over a river or something like that. Maybe it's similar to that.
I think it's kind of, because it's Ghost, it's kind of like he just walks through the rocks and doesn't care.
Ah, sort of floats over the top.
Yeah.
Kind of into it.
Well, we do see a clone here to trip them up, but they don't care. I do think, yeah, Pyosik is doing topside right now. Oh, no, he's not. Actually, it was taken already. My apologies. I misread the UI.
That is a very cute ward position.
He is maybe going to make something happen here. Like, this is such a tricky angle. Maybe less chance of that now.
Oh, God, yeah.
The deep bait? Like, the real insane bait?
Actually, possible? Never mind. He throws another clock, and that is Pyosik just going back to base.
He could have, like, I don't know, flashed the wall, taken a turret shot, looked for a kick flank angle, maybe.
Could have been something. And Dudu invested his Ignite there, right? Like, they really kind of wanted to commit, and then obviously someone called it off. And so Rich is going to be A-OK, still has Flash available. He's still got his Gnar, of course. And I think he's going to be pretty happy with the lane state at the minute. Currently behind only a few CS, as Dudu not going to be teleporting to any lanes or anything like that. Hasn't finished the quest yet. And so does home guard his way back up there. He's going to miss out on too much, but now might be in trouble as UCal and Andal are going to show up.
I mean, maybe Joker told him to cover topside again, because they're all up there doing it again. Grand Starfault, they're ready for Willer. This Gnar, or sorry, this Kennen is ultless, and so vulnerable to a Gnar setup with a potential Pantheon follow-through. So for DNS, they have to be very cautious right now. And, I mean, even the flash for the Kennen isn't necessarily going to save him, as this Sivir Wave Clear is already starting to hit in the bottom lane.
Oh, yeah. Rich takes a turret shot. Isn't going to be too worried about it here, as there are 3 men strong.
Look at all the vision around the Baron pit. Like, they have so much deep vision in the jungle. It's like they're map hacking. Like, they can see everything. They decide to call off the play here. But they can stay like this because they're like, where is Pyosik? Is he coming up? Who are these players?
Yeah. Where's Pyosik?
Yeah, exactly.
Very good point. Well, he's actually on the top side of the map. There are 2 of him. I can see plenty of Pyosik right now.
Not currently in Challengers.
Yep, true. Dudu doesn't manage to stop the back. Teleport is just going to bring Rich back in there. And so DRX have a very small lead. And not too much more to talk about here in this game. Yet to be broken open. Feeling a lot better than the way DNS were looking in game number 1, but still going to have to see some more as Hyperproc comes in. And Mertreads really makes Rich feel a whole lot better. We check out the replay here, and this was just a little bit of a dive potential setup. As, yeah, the flash does get used to get out of the way of the Gnar.
Yeah, the initial Gnar doesn't hit, and then see the flash traded. And that's the end of that. Andal
grabbed him to set up for this play potentially as Gio comes over, but I think Andal is just dead. He flashes anyway. Optimistic at best. And the Leona will be taken down, so DNS looking a lot better in this moment, evening out the gold.
Not ideal for DRX here, as DNS will grab the Dragon, as Rich continues to try to get an advantage up here on the top side, but this was the answering Kennen pick that is not really finding much outside of defending the turret thus far. Dragon is going to go over. Let's see what we get second here. It will be the Cloud Drake.
Ooh,
so possibly
another mountain?
One more ocean as well.
Oh, yeah. Love to see
Andal, in this scenario, I mean, really just, I mean, he was a bit deep trying to set up vision. We know that's DRX's whole game plan. With the way we came into it, looked pretty bad, but watching it a second time was just caught there with limited information, being a support.
Yep, they also didn't want to commit to anything there.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Andal would then try to throw out a Solar Flare to set up for a Weaver's Wall and the Grand Skyfall, but Willa didn't have the ultimate available, and so they couldn't actually go for the play.
He got the achievement.
Good timing.
He got the achievement to unlock Hex Flash.
There you go, beautiful.
On the play, so.
And Gio just managed to get that cannon. So his whole performance has really turned around. As Andal looking to make his way in, there's a Zenith Blade to hold up closer. But he's able to proc the Ghost and get himself out of there. Will a little bit late to that one.
Yeah, I guess the rock or the shove was already used. 100% sure if he used it on camera or not, but used it here on the Scuttle Crab. Either way, it was a near kill onto Closer. They did not get his flash, but they get the Ghost. And this game has been, once again, like, outside of a few crazy scraps, a little bit of a tug of war where vision game for DRX is superior.
Ooh, cute
One thing
ward
they don't
comes
see,
in, there's
though.
a slicing maelstrom. The Gnar pushes him back, and there is the Q connecting from Pyosik. Willa turns up, but then he realizes he doesn't really want to be here. Q going to connect there from Pyosik, who does go in. Yukal's in position, though. As the stun comes down, flash out there as they see the Realm Warp, and they do not want any of it. Nicely played defensively at the end, but really good gank there from the DN Supers.
Yeah, definitely a lot of plays here for DRX that have nearly been well coordinated, right? The play where they almost got closer in the mid lane. This trap they were trying to set with the rich push there, where they're like, aha, we had the Pantheon ult, but the vision they didn't have, they had vision almost everywhere on the map of where Pyosik was what really did them in there. You can see also Yukal was in position to Weaver's wall in, but opted not to once he realized the fight was lost before he even got there.
Oh, there's Zenith played in from Andil, but this is red-white guns on Doctom. Andil is dead, right? Yeah, Doctom just able to kill him there in the 1v1 underneath the turret. Red-white don't fight, DRX. You know this.
That was very peculiar, but he did unlock a turret plate achievement as well.
He did definitely get that. Pyosik's making his way down, though. There's the flash. Really good use of the spell shield, but it does not matter. There's a kickback, and Pyosik will be able to lock down the Sivir as well. DN Supers coming alive here in game number 2.
Pyosik, bit of a funny start in this one, but he is certainly starting to really make an impact on the map now. It's the two shades of Pyosik, right?
Yep.
He either carries the game or he costs you the game.
And like, this is the champion that he carries games on as well.
Even though the very early game, I was a little bit concerned that it wasn't going to look that way. Look at how long he waits here. There's vision in that left side brush. But when Rich goes in to look for the Gnar, because he knows the Pantheon's coming up, he's trying to set up a Willer gank. But what he didn't know was Willer's gank was basically a late counter gank, unknown. And then he just has to walk away and flash away later. This is a little bit funky because Sivir just doesn't do that much damage yet. And as Gio is leaving is when Andil sees the angle to go in.
Yeah, I think Gio said, I missed my boomerang. And that's so much damage missing from the engage.
And then Gio can't get out anymore. So Spell Shield, as you mentioned, was good on the Pop Blossom, but he has to then die to the kick because he doesn't have any Spell Shield before.
Yeah, just kind of wishes that he had more opportunities than that, as Weaver's Wall does bring Yukal towards the top side of the map. Dudu able to make his way out, though. Uses the flash, slicing Maelstrom, everything, as the Eye is being defended here by DNS. As let's see, Andil is going to face check. Pyosik makes his way over. Gio now looking for a bit of an angle here as Andil flashes out of the way. Good shove to protect their support as Pyosik almost down. As, not quite able to get enough of these Beyblades over the top, and now Gio could find himself in an awkward position. Man drop comes down as Willa looks to try and stop Peter. Pop Blossom comes on forward. He stacked up the Q, though. Just needs to land it. He will not, but just the edge of the boomerang blade, and down will go the Nico. I believe the Eye is going to mean that Shelly does not play a part in today's second game, which is very sad.
I think it got picked up.
Oh, they did. Never mind. Willa got it.
Oh, he ultimately get it in the end. And the chaos that ensued.
I'm very glad, because when Shelly doesn't get to play the game, it's just really sad.
I think there was one game this last week where the Herald was just not killed at all. Which
really?
Crazier.
Wow, that's really sad.
Barrett spawn, but Andil, it gets up to being taken down incredibly low, but he baits Pyosik in this awkward spot. The Ricochet almost takes Pyosik out there. But now this is a really tough fight for the side of DNS. Gio has to use his barrier, but then the follow-up comes through from Willer. And it gets really tricky here, like, can I hit the Q? Cannot.
Rich almost died to Doctom as well.
But he kept Doctom at bay to a certain extent there. Yukal shows up, they have to retreat. Does not die, ultimately, like you were saying he nearly did. And now we're going back to clearing waves in the mid lane. Still a pretty good position in this game for DNS.
Yep.
Especially
after to get a double dragon as well.
Exactly, double dragon here for them. And we'll see what the soul is, because DNS are hoping for a high roll with this turret disappearing.
Well, it's going to be Chemtech, so not exactly the best. But
kind of okay for Aphelios?
Yeah, and it's kind of okay for some of the shields. There's a Seraphs that's getting built. I mean, there are angles here. This turret is going to go down in the mid lane. Closer is looking to answer on the bottom side, but it's a trade up for DRX.
Yeah, 2 for 1 here. And it looks like that might take even an extra wave to go down on the bottom side. It's going to be close, as I think it should still go down. And Yukal is going to play defensively, so will. But the scaling Sivir versus scaling Aphelios argument is really interesting, because both of these AD carries are insanely big benefactors of the new patch and the new crit damage. However, I think the Aphelios is stronger at dealing damage when his guns are set at red and white. But that doesn't necessarily matter if the Sivir setup is better and they have a more frontline for it. And that's kind of what I'm feeling is going to happen because there's so many threats to kill Duckdom in this game. He only has one flash, he only has one cleanse. And let's see what happens with this shove.
Yeah, there's a kickback onto Yukal. He's real dead. Not sure about what the goal was there, as Andor going to get tagged by a Sonic Wave as well. Willer in the area, Geo rotating down. There's a teleport in from the cannon, but Rich is here already. 3-man Pop Blossom is great from Peter, but he's just dead. Not an angle that he can actually fight in, and Dudu is so far away. Pioshik looks for it, but there is a Gnar into the wall. And the Lee Sin does have to do some shenanigans to get himself out. They get the stun onto Dudu. Slicing Maelstrom, though, is going to be the end of Andal. And finally, Duckdom shows up, and he's got the right guns to do it. Geo now with the Boomerang Blade, but they're not going to be able to close in. Still 3 on the floor, and just in trade for Peter, DNS will take that.
I just want to remind everyone that this is just a big fight on the bottom lane with no objectives nearby. It was a big tug-of-war fight when both teams have insane setup in CC and globals. Just one little tug-of-war game down here, one little shove attempt that goes too deep means every single player on the map. Watch the AD carries rush down with a cannon TP. Everyone's like, all right, well, if we don't actually win this war of attrition, they win. They'll get that bottom turret. We have to commit further. The Pop Blossom here initially feels like it's a big fail, but it ends up doing a decent amount of damage and kind of selling the idea to DRX that this play is actually winnable. They commit with a Gnar here onto Pioshik and then flashes and W's away, and now they're way too deep into a cannon.
Well, now we've got a bit of an angle as Duckdom could be in trouble. Solar Flare doesn't work, but that is a threaded volley that is going to be able to take down Duckdom. He had to use Flash as well. A huge deal here to grab that first death for Duckdom.
It's such a question for the rest of this game for DNS to answer. And really, not even DNS necessarily. It's
how do Duckdom not die?
Yeah, how do Duckdom live?
Yeah, that's a tough. I don't have the answer to that one. Andal just going to flash in, does manage to find the angle here, even through the flash. And Dudu not able to get too much value here, as Geo wanted to be able to get that last auto, but Yukal, he outranged the Slicing Maelstrom, so he's the one that gets the kill. Rich deals with the turret towards the bottom side, and DRX, this is that mid to late game macro that has just been so much better than DNS so far this series.
And the question is now becoming not just how do Duckdom live, as we'll watch here, he does not live. Pantheon comes through, flashes, guess what? Still got stunned, still got hit with a Solar Flare, and a ton of bursts from Yukal. And then, how do anyone live if everyone engage? It's a flash in from Andal, shove hits, any single target can be blown up, so they have to play together, but they don't have a great front line. It's, like I said, the Kennen ult and the Nico ult from Dudu and Peter that are your best tools of deterrence.
And it's not looking like it's really working out. But a lot of it is to do with the fact that DNS haven't necessarily looked quite as coordinated. They did have a much better early game this time around, but even still, you had Pop Blossom being used when there was no Aphelios or Cannon involved. I feel like the way Peter needs to engage is when Dudu is ready to get massive damage. As now Yukal is likely to be dead again. Pioshik able to set up for that one. Does get flung back, but he will still be able to go down. Closer will be able to grab his 4th kill of the game. This rise will be very scary.
It's actually a pretty crazy, it's almost a Baron angle, but Duckdom can't really get access. There's not enough time. They don't have any mid-prio. If Duckdom was able to control the mid-wave, he was playing, Sivir, if Sivir was on DNS's side, for example, and he had that wave control while they got that pick, they could have maybe turned into a Baron. He has IE, but unfortunately, it's not really going to work out that way because Yukal doesn't have teleport. He has Weaver as well, but that can only get you so far. But it looks like his death is not really going to be punished by DNS outside of the gold they pick up from his corpse.
And does have Weaver's Wall as well, so he can get back to a lot of the different fights that will be happening.
I think they'll have enough time to get back to this dragon with how slow this, how it spawned, and DNS haven't really set up very directly on it, as Rich is already here, as you can see.
Yep. Moves on over. That is going to be Gravitum, though. Does avoid the moonshot, I believe. Yes, that is a Calibrum. And Yukal will now find his way back. So an honest 5v5 here between these two squads. Looking for a bit of poke damage to start this one off.
Let's see where the Pop Blossom and the Slicing Maelstrom go this time around.
Exactly.
Rich needs to charge another Gnar bar. He does not have it, as the observers are showcasing all 10 big ultimates online for what could be the deciding fight here of this game, now potentially of the series. Willer.
Oh, Willer just dives in, looks for Dudu. Solar Flare going to slow him down. As now Jiu looking for an angle, but he's kind of lonely at this point in time. Boomerang Blade's sort of missing all over the place, but there's a Weaver's Wall from Yukal. Pop Blossom as Peter finds 3, and they take down Jiu to start the fight. Rich now looking to try and take down the Nico, but this is so dire as Doctom has so much protection. Both of the damage dealers are now on the floor, and DRX, you flubbed that one.
Yeah, they really did. They just were not able to get consistently set up to do the damage with Jiu. He was kind of going in by himself as Willer was able to get a lot of health bar, but not actually as secure. That was closer than I think it would have made Pioshik comfortable. But at the end of the day, it's sole point here for DNS, and they take back control of the game and the gold lead with this trade of kills. They're also going to grab this mid turret, some additional plate gold for their carries. But Willer's idea here is very risky and it's very greedy because look at where Jiu is right now. To follow up is certain death, right? So
yeah, Jiu needed to be with the other guys.
Exactly, and if the Maelstrom comes out at that moment, I think this might have even been more one-sided as Peter leaps into the arms of his old AD carry partner, takes him out. Will die for it. Rich is like, I'm an AD carry. Well, not really in this fight, and they don't have any friends as Ando is long gone.
Yeah, he got the heck out of there.
The one who started it all off just cannot really do anything for them. It's not the deciding fight of the game, but it definitely puts DNS back in the driver's seat.
And this is exactly how fights need to look for DNS as well. They need to find Pop Blossoms and get enough damage. There's a kick. Beautiful knock-up onto Andil as well as Yukal has to flash to get himself out of the way. There is a mega disengage cone up and available as Pioshik not going to quite find the Q, but Closer, he finds it, and down will go Yukal. Now Willer just desperately trying to leave, and DRX are very quickly falling apart.
This is starting to be
Joker, where is the coach call? We need the coach call right now.
It's like a Baron angle.
Oh, and Doctom is not going to lose health. He can probably tank it, to be perfectly honest.
Lost his red gun.
All right, DRX now moving in. These health bars are going down. But let's see, there's so much damage. There's a Solar Flare onto Doctom, but he's not too worried about it. Willer is on vision as Peter doesn't find the Pop Blossom, but it was all zoning. As now into the backline goes Dudu. Andil is going to be able to lock him up as Rich should be able to take down the cannon. Never mind, he just flashes away, and Jiu is dead yet again. Yukal just now respawning. But Willer is also going to suffer the same fate. Nice sidestep there from Rich, but it's too little, it's too late. It's a 6,000 gold lead. They have soul point, and there is the kick back onto Rich. He should be dead. Hop comes through, and there's the flash, so he survives.
The Dragon fight might not have been, but I do think this was the deciding game here, or the game-deciding fight here for DNS to bring us to a third and final game, our 6th of the day.
Yeah,
that's the Baron that goes over on
is
top
this our
of the Dragon.
first 6 gamer?
I think it is, if I'm not mistaken.
And I looked at Pony this morning, and I was like, Pony, it's 6 games today, and he's like, I've been going to the gym. I've got the stamina. I am ready for it. So Pony's going to get his wish here today. By the looks of things, obviously, you know, we shouldn't be counting chickens and things like that, but it's a 7.5 thousand gold lead, approximately.
I'm pretty ready to count the chickens.
How many chickens are there, Wolf?
7.4 thousand.
That's so many chickens.
I mean, give or take, it's been oscillating between 7.3 thousand and 7.5 thousand.
But that's. I
did a rough count.
You could solve a famine with that. Was that a Sonic Wave steal of a big Krug?
I didn't. I was looking at chickens.
Sorry. That makes sense. I did ask you about the chickens, so I appreciate that.
But it might have been.
That was a test to make sure that you were paying attention to the chickens and not the Sonic Wave.
Rich is looking to eliminate some chickens.
Oh.
Watch them go.
Wow, that was so many chickens. The crystalline the chicken line overgrowth. Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, the chickens are still going up because
there's
a farm in 2 lanes and a big plate to go down here for closer. The final one of that inner turret will be, the whole turret is TP flank from Rich is optimistic. He's got only a little bit of Gnar left.
All right. They look for closer, but he's just going to press Ghost and gets himself the heck out of there.
Who was he flanking?
Is he still flanking?
Nah, Pulbay is, though.
Yeah, he certainly is. Where is Pulbay?
He's going to jump into the LCK at any moment.
Well, I personally would like to see it. As all right, Weaver's Wall going to come down here as they're looking for Doctom, and he just gets stunned up and denied entry. Out goes Pioshik, and DNS playing some really nice defense.
Yeah, they're just like, you can't reach him, so, and he's got Flash and Cleanse, so
Oh,
good luck with that.
As a big old gnar as Dudu gets thrown into the wall. There is the stun from Willer at the same time. The slicing maelstrom still goes off. And now the fight is going to start. Pioshik gets on top of his target, and Willow is going to be taken down. Yukal, unfortunately, just hasn't done much of anything this game and will once again die as an afterthought. And DNS, man, they're making this one look good. Dr. on his signature pick,
I mean, you can
he's going to pick up a win with it.
You can see the intent in DRX's actions. Try to get on Dr. Oh, can't quite reach him. Okay, the cannon's in range. We blow him up because we've seen so many of these mid-game fights where they just single target blow somebody up, but they're just too far behind now. They can't kill Dudu in time. He's got his maelstrom, and they're just fighting tooth and nail to try to get anything back. And the end result is their base is alive, but they did not make progress. We'll watch this again. Look at this, Rich into Dudu. Willer's coming over, lots of chain CC, but where is the damage?
Yeah, and where is everyone else? Like, Yukal is on a third of his health bar, and I believe, yeah, someone looked at him and Yukal died. Yeah, there he goes.
Jiu was trying to help clear the wave, so in the mid-game, that's enough damage there with the Pantheon to kill that cannon. But at this stage, it absolutely is not. It's too much health. He's level 16. He does not care. He smirks at your attempted gnar into Pantheon.
Oh, that sounds rude. All right, well.
He says it's my year, baby.
Closer is also saying, I'm going to have this year as well. But you had 2025. It'll be okay. Regardless, that is 3 items done for the cannon, 3 items on Pioshik as well, having a great game today. 1-1 and 14. 15 out of 17 as far as the kill contribution. Feels very, very nice.
Started with the flash of a spear and ended with just running the entire game.
Exactly. And he's looked really, really good. The defensive play, like we already illustrated it, it was going to be difficult in this game, right? Defending this Aphelios could be tough.
All right, we're flanking again. Maybe this time we'll get that pesky rat.
Maybe they can do it. Flash is available, though, for Dudu, so it is still going to be a very difficult task.
He also has ult still as well.
All right. Well, Rich has Wit's End, so let's see. 2 inhibitors now going down, though, as DNS just playing this one by the book. Looking to close in. There's a super minion making his way down. 1 minute until the Baron, though. Might be that DNS are just going to back away. Look for that one again. It's, oh my god, the damage from Dr.
It is impressive that DNS were able to make this comp work. They were able to defend Dr. He became a huge threat. His positioning was phenomenal. But I'm also impressed with the fact that DRX are still in this game. Like, they know that if DNS overstep just a little bit, they can actually, you know, potentially get those picks. They've tried so many times and failed, right? But if the coordination is a little bit better, or if the damage dealers are actually there when that Pantheon gnar goes through, they can get a multi-man shove and somehow miraculously steal the game away, right? But everyone has flash on DNS, so it's going to be really tough. But DNS are like, you know what? Like, I don't like ending the game here. I don't like staying around. They have too many tools to wrap around. There's too many flank opportunities with Pantheon Talia. Let's just back off and look for the Baron, like you were alluding to, and controlling that space is certainly the safer play. Maybe learning a little bit from the DNF 10,000 gold lead that didn't go so well last year.
I mean, right now they don't have a mid laner. Yukal's 3 levels behind, 4.5 thousand gold behind. Rich is flanking, I guess, as Dr. Let's see whether he can survive this one. He flashes, Yukal goes golden, but look at the AoE from this guy. Just presses Q with Severum and everyone's dead. Jiu likely to go down as well. Does manage to pick up a little Pikachu on his way out, but that is going to be Closer flashing for it. Willa manages to get one, but it's Dr. at full health that completes the ace, and that is going to be the end of the game.
I liked the peel from support Ken and support Nico as they try to kill Dr. and fail miserably. I told you guys the front line, it's the ultimates, and it's also the positioning of Dr. I did not believe. I was not a believer. I thought this composition just was too risky, too many ways to kill the Aphelios. Dr. says, no, not today. Yeah, the elite 80 carry, and the rest of his team propped him up in a big way.